r/ask Reddit. What are some weird things Americans do that are considered weird or taboo in your country? Having a price tag without tax on it, then having tax added at the checkout. What most foreigners don't realize is that there is a reason for this. It is so that companies can make national advertising with prices and so that companies can display the same price everywhere in the US. Taxes can vary wildly from state to state, and if you have to mark tax on your marketing, this creates a whole new set of headaches for companies like Walmart and McDonald's, which serve customers all over the country and run national ads with prices on them. I've heard of people that live in Vancouver, WA, where there is no income tax and do their shopping in Portland, or where there is no sales tax. There is a very similar effect in Eastern TN. People who live near the VA border hop over to VA to buy shit because the sales tax is much lower, and TN doesn't have a state income tax. The lack of annual leave vacation time from work. My uncle recently moved to the UK from the States and nearly passed out when he realized I get around 35 days holiday a year. In the UK, by law, everyone who works full-time, 5 days a week, is entitled to a minimum of 28 days paid leave a year, including bank holidays. Pledge of Allegiance. I'm American, but my relatives think that kids just chanting that every day is real weird. Thank you. I remember always being creeped out by it in grade school. I was just talking to my brother a few weeks ago and he was basically like, yeah. Now that I think about it, it is kind of weird. Is there a legit reason we started doing that in school? To counter Nazi propaganda. As an outside observer, the US seems to hold personal responsibility as a paramount virtue, while in the countries I've lived social responsibility is the priority. It's a mindset that has an impact on everything from legislation all the way down to common courtesy. Okay, but if it's social responsibility, why does everyone not talk to each other? This is a strange conundrum. Positive and negative politeness. In the US, it's common to make others feel welcome by adding ourselves into their lives openly, which is positive politeness. Other places, it's more common to keep to yourself and not bother other people so they can be comfortable, which is negative politeness. If you move from one environment to the other, you'll be uncomfortable for a while you adapt to the differences. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are rare outside the US. My condolences. Please stop using different narrators for David Attenborough documentaries. This is just wrong. Openly tell you jokes. German. I was playing Cards Against Humanity last night. You would have had a heart attack. What gives me uncontrollable gas? Auschwitz. Tipping in general is taboo in Japan. They see it as an insult. As a former waiter, I detested whenever I had Japanese customers because they never left any tip. European tourists as well, because they customarily only tip 8-10% as opposed to 17-20% Americans tip. The American tipping culture is considered weird in Europe. From what I've heard, in America waitresses live off tips because they barely earn minimum wage. In Europe you only tip waiters who are friendly or if you had good service. Whereas in America people are expected to tip every time. Putting people in retirement homes. I'm Mexican and I was raised believing that your parents took care of you for the first part of your life and it's up to you to take care of them during their last part. To be fair, they paid people to take care of me in school and daycare. I'm really just returning the favor. Finally, the American dream has been realized. It's a big cultural thing. Over here in the States, it's actually seen as better for the parents to put them in a home of some kind. The thinking goes that these institutions have trained professionals to take care of them and people their own age. We consider that there is no way we'd be able to help our parents in the event of any serious medical problem, while a nursing home is pretty much like a mini hospital. Advertisements for medicine. I watched very little TV in my time in the US, but every other advertisement seemed to be for some kind of medicine. Seriously, if I'm sick, I'll go see a doctor who'll give me what I need. I think Americans just think I have pain here, must get brand name drug to solve the pain. And the massive list of side effects they have to tell you during the advert too. Then there's the bad drug adverts too. Don't get them in the UK. Doesn't really slow us down, and it adds a certain thrill to underage drinking. You break your leg, you pay for it in pain and money. It's a double whammy. Not my fault. Not my problem, America. But look how that worked out for Peter Parker. Call someone out for rudeness in public. In the UK we just glare and tut until we develop a stomach ulcer from the built up stress. Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way. Apparently sweet tea is only in the States, and mainly in the southern states. I'm not sure how to describe it, but sweet tea in the South definitely tastes different than iced tea or other teas I've had. It's just a particular kind I think, but the way it's made and served makes it taste different. I had some at my friend's house down south and it was the best thing ever. The canned sweet tea you can buy doesn't taste remotely close. Okay, so here's how you make sweet tea. Boil an imperial duck ton of water, add tea bags, add sugar, lots of it, now ice. Everyone gets parts 3 and 4 wrong and flips them around. Also, when I say sugar I mean sugar, not sweeteners. The canned ones use HFCS and a lot of people up north and out west flip parts 3 and 4 around. Kid beauty contests, just wrong. I met some Americans a few years ago in France and was surprised by their warm and easy given invitations to come by next time I would visit the US. Very guest friendly. Never used any of those invitations though. I was not sure they meant it or if the invitations were merely a friendly gesture. In Holland invitations are not that given that easy. Dude, they'd totally honor that invitation. We love taking foreigners out and having a good time. Hell, you know what? If you find yourself in the States you can crash at my place. I'll take you out shooting. Yep, but don't stay too long. I run into foreigners that think nothing of staying with someone for 4-6 weeks. 1 week max. And 3-4 days is best. Fish and visitors smell after 3 days. Ben Franklin. Talking about work, asking what a person does for a living in great detail at a social function party. I think this is in part due to America being such a workaholic country. Work tends to be much more ingrained on the brain. When I'm out or at a party to unwind, the last thing I want to talk about is anything related to work. It's such a killjoy. Ask me about what movies I've seen or where I traveled to, not what my daily work routine entails. When I was living in America for a short while, it'd be unbearable going to parties where the bulk of the people I talked to would always ask right off the bat what I do for work and would want to know more about it. How has there not been legislation in America for people to be entitled to a large amount of holiday time? You lot are overworked. Today I learned after reading this thread, just tried peanut butter and jam on bread, no butter. Then tried peanut butter and honey. What a revelation, sickly but very nice. From England. You might be from England but you're American now. Try peanut butter, honey and banana. Delicious. Tip the bartender at every order. Whilst I understand why and how it works in the UK, we tip when we receive good service, giving it a sense that they've earned it. Whereas in the USA it's custom to tip on every drink as the wages are lower and the staff rely on tips to bump up the wage earned. Also, in a crowded bar, you are more likely to get quick service the next time if you tipped last time. Seriously, the best investment of the night. Tip 40% on the first round. You'll get great service the rest of the night, even if you just toss them $1 for each of the successive rounds. Bartenders won't forget it. California is not representative of the rest of the US. The California that the media shows isn't even representative of California. Considering gun ownership a sacred right, that's so far removed from my culture. Most people here would be like, why would I ever want a gun? They're basically a tool for farmers. To fight against the government if need be. The often staunch patriotism is a tad foreign to someone living in Germany. Well, you kind of swung to the other end of the spectrum after World War II. Same in Sweden, nationalism is considered xenophobic here. Talk to random strangers. I'm sorry I bothered you with my friendliness. Lawyers advertising. When I was in Louisiana I remember an ad that was something like that. Have you been bitten by an alligator? We can help you get an reparation. I thought it was hilarious. I'm in law school and here in Brazil lawyers are very serious and formal. Not this mediatic thing. Why do you talk so loudly? That's not just an American thing. I work with a bunch of South Americans. Those people are easily twice as loud as us, especially the Brazilian. They are nearly yelling all the time. My boyfriend is Brazilian. I am Italian. I like loud. After reading this thread, I'm thinking it's best I don't leave America. Apparently everything we do is weird. They call themselves Irish, even though their great-great-great-great-great-grandparent came to the USA in the 19th century. Damn it, you're not Irish. Stop calling yourself Irish. Well, here it is, an ethnic identifier, not a nationality claim. Asking how are you after meeting someone. In Germany it's never spoken. Because I guess we don't care how you are? Oh, we don't actually care either. It's just a thing to say. People in the US often say things like "what's up" and "how are you" as they're walking past each other. Basically the only socially acceptable answers are "not much" or "fine." How are you? Not doing too well. You're supposed to say "not much." Endless, costly political campaigning. In Canada, campaigns are typically 1-2 months, with strict spending limits. At first I thought it was very weird that when men and women said hello, they shook hands or waved at each other. Where I'm from we say hello cheek to cheek. It took me a while to get used to. When my dad is watching a typical American TV show, he makes gagging faces when people are acting so extremely nice. He doesn't mind people being nice, of course, but in my country we are suspicious when people are that nice. Maybe y'all should stop being so rude. Guys asking out girls in random places like shops, on the street. That's just creepy here. It's not particularly classy here either, unless you're exceedingly smooth. Not likely. You strike up a conversation and then get her phone number / Facebook. You talk a bit via that, ask out via that, and it gives her the space to not be put on the spot and can say no if she wants. Eating pizza without utensils. I'm Brazilian, but I've lived almost my entire life in NA, and when I went back to Brazil and went to go eat pizza, a bunch of people were giving me weird looks. Why else would we give pizza a handle if not to eat it with our hands? Drink Coke all the goddamn time. Them's fightin' words. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.